Do you feel that that's one of our biggest issues these days, is the mass amount of fear and stress we're under that is going to impact our immune system and allow not just, let's say, a virus to attack, but everything? It's really everything out there can take advantage of that.
1,000%. And, when everything was happening with the abortion issue and it got very polarizing, I made a post. I don't have the exact words. It's on my Instagram. And I made a post and I said, listen, whatever side, because again, they want you to take sides with everything. Yes. Whatever side you're on, whatever you believe in, you're going to have to learn to regulate your nervous system, because they're not going to stop. Right. And it's coming at all. And I have chills as I'm saying that. It's coming from all different angles. I mean, you turn on the news, which I don't even own a TV. I don't even know if I'm in an Airbnb. I don't even know if there's one here, but I don't own one at home. And they pump fear into you, because when you are in fear, your immune system is lowered. You're easier to control, right? We know all this with 2020, and you become a puppet to the system, right? And you are a lot more organized and manageable when you're in groupthink, right? And you're not thinking for yourself and you don't have your own sovereignty, right? So unfortunately, we've seen that this is a goal. And this is part of the agenda. This is not a conspiracy. You just open your eyes and look, right? So absolutely, that is something that no matter what you believe in, no matter what you do, how your lifestyle is, you're going to have to learn to work with your immune system, work with your emotions, and regulate your nervous system, because it's not going to stop. And the astrology is just getting more intense and more intense. And we also have more light flooding the planet than we've ever had. So let me just talk about that for a moment.
Please.
When we have more light flooding the planet, light is information and light is consciousness. What do you think happens? It comes into our body. And this is where the cosmic body came from. It comes into our body, and it doesn't just like, oh, we're enlightened and we have all this light. No. What do you think it needs to do? It needs to, I'm breaking this down so you can understand, it needs to create space. So this light comes in, but then you're filled with all this density, and density doesn't mean you're a bad person. It just means all the crap and the bullshit that you believed when you were younger, which we all have, right? So where do you think that has to go? That has to clear out. So we have to clear out our trauma. We have to clear out our stuff. And this is where there's a lot of projections and a lot of shadows, and a lot of people scream and yell at other people, because nobody has been taught how to regulate their nervous system and learn emotional intelligence. We're not taught this in school. We are not taught this in school, and nobody knows what they're doing. Yet we're humans on Earth, and people have no idea how to work with their emotional field. But guess what? We are emotional, energetic beings, and everything starts in the energetic and emotional field. And that's where, I know that this was part of my journey, but I also understand that my childhood led up to me having a compromised immune system, having a lot of trauma in my field. And so when Lyme hit me, my body, or, if it's someone else's body, didn't have the energy to fight it off. So it was just a perfect storm waiting to happen. And that's another thing I just want to throw in here. The body, I see it as a bucket. We keep adding stuff to it. So it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. If you keep adding toxins in, at some point, the body's going to tip if you're not detoxing, if you're not clearing it out, if you're not working on your stuff. And I didn't know any of this. And so my bucket just tipped. And that's what it was. It came down to my bucket tipped. And so that's why I constantly share, listen, I'm not a doctor, but guess what? After 5 years of being immersed in this, on the ground, slurring my words, crying, not being able to walk, in bed for about a year off and on, I learned a lot about the body and the emotional field, and spirit's giving me information, right? So I'm sharing the information to help speed up people's journey.
Yeah, and that information is so critical, because so many people lack the awareness. That's it. It's not that you lack the ability to understand this. It's not that you're lacking anything. In fact, it's all inside you. You just need the awareness to bring it out. And that's right. That's the key.
You're right. And that's why I keep sharing. And, a lot of people don't want to hear it. A lot of people, yell at me all the time because I'm not a doctor. And I'm like, are we so programmed that we're only allowed to listen to a doctor in a white coat, but we don't listen to the intelligence of our body? Like, that's the program that we need to get out of, and we need to relearn. And sure, there are doctors that help us along the way. Absolutely. But also it comes back to, we know our body. I work with great doctors now in Miami. And, one of the doctors, he's a little bit more aggressive in his approach, and he said things and my body's instantly like, no. So I'm like, no, let's half that dose or take this down a notch, even with the IV, because I know my body. And that's the beauty of being in connection and being in service to your body is going to tell you. Your body has an intelligence and an innate wisdom. And if we listen enough, our body reacts and tells us yes or no, always.